Hello there, world of takers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Edward's Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 British Premium Heavy Tank, the Chieftain Mark 6. This was the first Tier 10 Premium ever introduced into the game. Back before crates even existed, it was a flat $100 price tag. The tank has literally never been changed since its original debut, and yet it is still a pretty powerful vehicle, not only on the gun, but even some decent spots on the armor. Now, if I'm gonna be real, the Chieftain is definitely showing some signs of wear and tear. Personally, I think for Wargaming to make this vehicle quite a bit stronger heavy, especially dealing with the newer big baddies like the 60TP. Now we got the Stritzvon K, the T95E6 got a big old buff on its mobility, and it's basically just better than this tank now. I would say really to make this tank super strong, just make the turret harder to pen. Leaving that hatch is fine, but I think that the overall turret should not be penetrable by any premium shells. It should be like aiming at an IS-4 turret, just with a hatch on the roof. So if you hit the hatch, you'll still pen, but when this vehicle's hauled down, high pen shells aren't just going to cut through the gun mantlet or cheeks on the tank. That's what I would do to the Chieftain. I'd also buff its side armor probably by about 20, maybe 30 millimeters, so that HE can no longer pen the sides of the tank, and it can get maybe a little bit better of a side scrape off, because right now, this vehicle has literally no side armor. But while the Chieftain is a bit lackluster in terms of armor, it still features what I consider the best gun in Tier 10, with 2,945 damage per minute, 0.308 dispersion, great penetration on the standard, pretty good premium pen, and another fun fact about the Chieftain is that it only loses 40 damage a shot from going AP to APCR. If you were to compare that to, let's say, the Super Conqueror, which also features a 400 alpha, it goes from 400, losing 60 on the premium, to 340. The Chieftain also features HESH. It has 10 degrees of gun depression and a top speed of 42 kilometers per hour. So it's got a lot going for it. It's got mobility, it's got great DPM, it's got just everything you'd want. But again, it does feature some downsides. As I said, the armor, yeah, pretty lackluster. Another big downside of the Chieftain is its shell velocity on the high explosive ammunition. It's like 700 meters a second. And the problem is your standard ammunition is insanely good. It's 1400 meters a second. So when you go from your standard ammo and drop your shell velocity by literally half, it's not even irritating, it's just mind-blowing, because you're so used to using your APCR, you then load in your HESH and you just miss half your shots because you misjudged the shell velocity. So it's an interesting learning curve with the Chieftain, but as long as you get it down, it's actually just a great tank. So we got the FE2 and 5B off to the side, we got the Conf Panzer, and we're gonna wait for that 2 and 5B to drive off, and there you go, nice shell into the 2 and 5B once. And now we back on up. Okay, well, let's reload again. Let's see if we can get maybe a shell into the KPZ. Aiming, and bonk. Nice HESH shell. Only rolled 400, but I'll still take it. A HESH is a HESH. Let's reload again, aiming on this Conf Panzer. We're not able to HESH him, but we'll get a nice shell tracking him. You can see that crazy good DPM working here. The reload is just great. You're able to easily cut through your opponents. You can see that KPZ is most likely aiming at our hatch, but if I have to make my choice of a V4 or the Conf Panzer, I think I'll take my bet with the Conf Panzer. So let's finish him off. There you go. We only got rolled for about 500, which isn't the end of the world. And we got the Vickers Light off in the side. There you go. Nice 435 shot into that player. V4 is also here, so what we're going to do is we're going to push off to the FE2 and 5B, and let's see if we can get a nice pen in. There you go. That rear is looking mighty scary. I'm going to wait for this 2 and 5B to shoot the TNH VZ. There you go. He shot him, and we're going to finish off the FE2 and 5B. Now we've got the enemy VZ pulling off behind, who we're just going to drive over here from. V4 is still quite healthy, which is rather not good, because yeah, this is not good at all, actually. I'm going to try and see if I can get this V4. Oh, crap. Nope, that's the end of my fun. TVPs. Well, this is a loss. Like, that V4 is going to roll off onto our rears, and now that TVP took off half my health, there's really not much I'm going to be able to do. So let's just cross over here. Let's get a shell into the VZ. Keep on going, keep on going. The problem is I'm really worried that V4 is going to roll off behind me, so I'm going to keep on crossing over here. Let's keep going, keep going. Alright, we're not dead. The Conway is a big threat, but if our Type 71 can take the shot, I can finish him off just like so. And, well, it's still looking sus, but it's looking a lot less sus right now. So, let's see what we can do. Unfortunately, our Type 71 did not penetrate that shell onto the enemy tank. We got the V4 off to our side. We get one pen into his vehicle. And because the V4 shot, that means we should be able to get maybe one more in. No, unfortunately, the moment we shot, it did not end up cutting through. Okay, well, the Contracaro does get one pen in. Hopefully he gets the next. Yes, he does. Okay, that was rather important. Now we got the TVP over here, who is going to shoot one into my teammate. And we're probably going to be the ones killed. We were able to get a Hess shell in, but unfortunately, as you can see, TVPs are broken, and there's really not much of a counter to a tank like that. We did pretty good this game, and honestly, if that TVP had not been able to take 600 off of us while we were trying to get that V4, probably would have been a pretty easy win. Not only would I have maybe been able to save the Super Conqueror, but that 268 version 4 would have been killed, which would have allowed me to now deal with probably the TVP and other players. But lo and behold, you got a 70%er spamming the most overpowered tank in Tier 10. Either way, you can see where the Chieftain gun is incredible. 4,600 damage dealt. We were able to get a nice Hess shell out onto not only the Kampfpanzer, which low rolled, but we were still able to get it out. But we were also able to Hess pen that TVP before we were killed. It's just a really, really good gun. Mounted on a pretty mobile and decently well-armored tank. Now, as you saw, on flat ground, you're not going to bounce anything. In fact, I don't think we really bounced anything in this vehicle. That's because the actual hull of this tank is based off the same Tier 8 Chieftain T95. So, side scraping, lower plates, pretty bad. But the upper plate is very well angled. Any APCR and even heat shells are going to have a really hard time cutting through that upper plate. So, it's a weird combination. As I said, I really want Wargaming to just buff the turret and make the side armor a bit stronger. That's really all that needs to happen. Hopefully when they give the tank PBR, they'll do that. Knowing Wargaming, they probably will, but I guess we'll find out. Let's see what we can do. This battle, our E100 is going to base C, and our Super Conch is going to mid. Okay, well, this is looking sus. Oh, never mind. Our E100 has changed his decision and is now going with the rest of the team. Okay, well, that's good. You can actually see the mobility of the Chieftain here. It's pretty solid. I mean, it's not bad at all for a heavy tank. To be fair, it's not a very heavily armored heavy, so it makes sense it does have a decent top speed, but anywhere around 40 is quite reasonable, and it actually makes you feel decently mobile in a tank like this. Another fun fact about the Chieftain is that it has the highest camouflage value for a heavy in the game at 20%. What that means is you can actually sit in bushes and not be spotted by mediums, which is quite nice. It's a very, very rare thing about this tank, which is really good. Now with that .308 dispersion, we were able to bonk at least one gel into that Object 268 version 4. We have the Object 260 off to the side, and it also looks like that mouse is rolling off to the side over here, so let's aim in a shell onto that mouse's lower plate. There you go, nice slap. Unfortunately, our E100 is putting himself in a pretty poor situation. Oh, please don't. Okay, well, he didn't block me for too long, and I guess it didn't matter, because our shell kind of screwed me there. But that's fine. Let's reload again. We got the 260 in front. Let's go for a nice shell into his vehicle. The problem is my E100's 268. Stop poking that, bro. You know you're going to be pinned if you poke that. Well, I guess he actually doesn't now. But I'm just trying to track this mouse to eat up his repair kits, because if we're able to use them all, then he's not really going to be able to do much here. I can't pen that mouse at this angle, I'm pretty sure, but if he shows me his turret cheek there, nice shot right into his vehicle for 370. As I said, the APCR actually has very, very nice alpha for what it is on this tank, so you're very easily able to roll people high, even shooting premium ammunition. So we get one shell into that player. Looks like the guys off to the side are no longer there. We're not able to Hesh pen that 260, but that's fine, because we'll get a nice roll in anyway. Let's reload again. 260 has not been able to kill our E100 yet, and impressively, he still hasn't. Our 268 is kind of oblivious, though, to be real. Not sure why he just didn't kill the 260, but you know what? That's fine, because we'll get the kill. There's only 3 vehicles left on the enemy team, one of them being an enemy Yag. At this point, we got a lot of health left. We've got 2,500 hit points, and I'm not really too worried about being shot here, because all that's left is a Yag Panzer E100 and a Yag Tiger. So let's roll over here. Yag Tiger pens me once, but we get a nice roll into the Yag Panzer. Yag Panzer pens me as well, damages the Amarak, but again, doesn't matter to me at all, because you gone, and you gone. So, this was a pretty good game to showcase the Chieftain. The gun is amazing, and it doesn't matter how power crept a tank gets. A heavy tank with over 3,000 DPM, with a great accuracy value, great penetration, and, I mean, great shell velocity, everything. When you have all these attributes, even a tank as old as the Chieftain is still going to be incredible. So it does need a slight buff here or there, but overall, it is still an incredible tank. It's still one of my favorite tier 10s to play. It's just great. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the Chieftain Mark 6 in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.